Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sirisha Singh. I am a consultant dermatologist and aesthetic dermatologist. We are going to do a brief chat on how to look after your feet during summers. During summers, a lot of people tend to suffer from dry feet, particularly dry soles of the feet. Many people also develop certain fissures or cracks on the feet, particularly on the heel area and on the skin beneath the greater toe. Fungal infections in between the toes also tends to be a common problem. This is also commonly called athlete's foot. So what is one supposed to do if one suffers from dry skin on the soles of the feet and if one has cracked feet or fissured feet? The most important step in this case is to first exfoliate the skin. You could do this by using a pumice stone or using a foot scrub, or by just gently soaking your foot in a tub of warm water. The dead cells are then exfoliated and then apply a generous amount of moisturizer on the feet. It is preferable to use moisturizers which contain urea, which soak inside the skin and hydrate the skin from within. This will greatly reduce the amount of cracks and fissures on your feet. There are also certain creams and ointments available in the market specifically for cracked feet and fissured feet. You could also try using these creams and ointments. If one tends to suffer from internal problems like diabetes or thyroid issues, this becomes a commoner issue, and it is worthwhile seeing your endocrinologist to ensure that your blood sugar levels are under control. And the dermatologist usually has a chiropodist attached to the clinic who would also be able to advise you on looking after the foot with diabetes, and particularly during summers. Athlete's foot, which is a fungal infection in between the toes, also tends to be a common problem during summers. The reason this is common, particularly in tropical environments like India, is because the moisture which tends to stay in between the toes is very favorable for the growth of the fungi or for the proliferation of the yeast. And excessive proliferation of the fungus and yeast causes infection in between the toes, and it presents as itchiness. The itchiness may be associated with a bit of redness, or the skin may actually appear white and flaky and dry in between the toes of the feet. The most important step is to keep the area dry to reduce the accumulation of moisture in this area. So before you put on your footwear in the morning, it is worthwhile taking a soft cotton towel, sticking it gently in between all the toes and making sure that the area is completely dry. If you have an internal problem like diabetes, or you are at risk of getting fungal infections, then you could also use an antifungal dusting powder which is easily available over the counter to keep the area dry and reduce your chances of a fungal infection. During the night when you are sleeping, it's worthwhile avoiding wearing socks and letting the skin stay dry so that the skin gets a chance to breathe overnight, and this reduces the chances of a fungal infection. If in spite of taking all these precautions you still develop a fungal infection, it is worthwhile consulting your dermatologist who will be able to give you a prescription for antifungal creams and ointments. Another common problem which people have, not only during summers but all through the year, is when they tend to develop a bit of dystrophy, that is trauma to the nails, particularly trauma to the nails of the great toe and trauma to the nails of the little toe. And this happens when people wear footwear which are narrow at the front. If you wear footwear which is narrow at the front, what tends to happen is your toes override each other. This causes traumatic injury to the nails, and it also tends to cause a bit of discrepancy in the appearance of the toes, and the toes appear like they are in the shape of a hammer, which is also commonly known as hammer toes. The best way of avoiding this problem is to look at your footwear. Wear footwear which is broad at the front, footwear which isn't very exciting, but however this is the footwear which is actually kind on your toes and kind on your toenails. If you have any further queries and you wish to get any further clarifications, feel free to contact me. My contact details are given in the description box below. Thank you.